Recording started. Hello, Jerome. Hello, everyone. My guest today is Jerome Rattoni, a French guy living with his family in Budapest, Hungary. He's a MovNat Level 3 and Master Instructor. And he's teaching this method worldwide. First of all, I would like to tell you how I met Jerome. It was around 2013. I started doing my strength trainings outdoors, lifting stones and doing chin-ups on tree branches. This time I was searching for some similar training methods on the internet to improve my skills and training plans. And I have found the MovNat or natural movement, which was very interesting for me from the beginnings. Then the next step was that I was looking for a coach in Hungary where I can try this method. And it was a huge surprise for me that the one and only MovNat instructor that time was living only 1 kilometer from me. So it was a sign, and that it was no question that I joined his group. And then later I also quickly become passionate about this natural movement. So hello, Jerome, how are you? And please introduce yourself briefly if I didn't mention something, and how you started your natural movement journey.
Hey, hi Michi. So thank you very much for inviting me. That's a great pleasure always to talk to you, my friend. Hogy vagy? Beszélek egy kicsit magyarul, but I think we'll do it. We'll do it in English, even though I have basics of Hungarian. So yeah, I'm living in Budapest, Hungary for now. It's been 13 years, so it's been a long time. And I think you shared a very fun story when we met. You first of all sent me a messenger saying that you were looking for a solution, like you said, and we realized that you were living close to me. And at the time, I think it was in 2014 or 13, when I met you one night in the park, where the park that I used always to train. And it was pretty cold, and I remember going back from work and seeing you in your shorts and light t-shirts, and I was like, who's this big guy not dressed properly for winter time? And even though I like natural movement, I was not digging too much about the cold, the cold therapy and all these things. And you actually introduced me to this other aspect of natural movement, let's say. And I really like your approach, where you coming back from a high level athlete that you are, that you wanted to look for other solutions because you were injured due to the overuse of the same repetitive movements in canoe. And I proposed you to come. I remember it was the day after, maybe the early morning, 6 a.m. And you came, and you came part of a group of, I would say, regular people. Okay, regular people that I was teaching for quite so a few weeks or months. And you were doing well, but you were also struggling with some movements. And your reaction at the end of the class was, I want to continue, I want to improve and I want to be better. Because I was like, oh, you're an Olympian and I'm just like a regular guy. I wouldn't understand if you want other solutions. And you were like, no, I want to keep going. And you developed very well, with the champion mentality that you have. You really improved very fast, and you became also yourself a certified trainer. And that has been a great pleasure for me to see your journey from this moment where we met till, the time that now you are, I think, in Spain, living a very natural life. So great pleasure to be with you. So as per my journey, so quickly, I was a football player. My main sport was playing football for 20 years. I was also like a regular student, going to university, studying languages, studying business. Then I became a sales executive. I moved to Hungary. My wife is Hungarian. I have two children here. And so I developed a business career, but I always thought that I need to also, like yourself, like to work on my physicality, to work on my mental strength. And football was okay, but that was not giving me all the answers as a specialized sport. So I found MovNat through this video called The Workout the World Forgot on YouTube. And I saw this other French guy, Erwan Lecor, moving very well, beautifully in nature, being strong, but also being agile, mobile. And I have all the qualities that human beings would like to have. So I was like, I will give it a try. I wanted to just mimic what he was doing in the video. At the time, MovNat was only offering retreats in Thailand or in the US, things like this. And so I couldn't afford, paying those trips. So fortunately, they had many videos on YouTube, and that's why I could, mimic and train in my playground. I remember going to a place that Josef Attila, holding a rock. I think that was the path was 1 kilometer, and I was just holding my rock, with different positions: chest carry, shoulder carry, overhead carry. Till I reached this place, and I was climbing over there and coming back, and I really made some fitness gains quite quickly, especially in the upper body and mobility as well from just doing this. Then MovNat evolved, became way more structured, and they had certifications in place, trainer certifications, and I gave it a try. I wanted to just coach because I realized that when I was training myself in the park, some parents and some children came to me, and they were talking to me, and they were curious, and they wanted me to coach them, almost. And so I decided to learn, properly the method, to be certified. From 2013-14, I passed level 1, level 2. I met the management of MovNat, Erwan Lecor, Vic Verdier, who's responsible for combatives and aquatics, that because he was your instructor for level 1 in Paris. And then I passed my level 3 in 2015 in Mexico. And then I could become not only a certified trainer, but also part of the instructor team. So I became a team instructor. And it's been 5 years that I travel the world, teaching seminars, teaching workshops, teaching the level 1, level 2, and now also the level 3 certification. So that has been a great ride. I changed a lot of things in my life. I changed not only my body, but also my mental strength. And I'm glad to be here with you right now.
Yeah, thanks for this introduction. And as I know, you have a very busy life, and how you can find to do your daily workouts. And I see you do every day something.
Yes. So at the time I started MovNat, I still had a full-time job, as a sales professional for a Hungarian company, which also included a lot of travels, to Asia, to America. So it included a lot of flights, a lot of hotel stays. And I was always thinking how I can train myself using the MovNat method. Because the MovNat method is based on adaptation of practical movements. So wherever you are, you don't have to be in the green like here right now. You can be in a hotel room, you can be in a small living room. It doesn't really matter, even though it's better to be in nature. But if you are stuck somewhere, you always have a possibility to train. Why? Because you get back to human basic movements, such as ground movements, for example. You have walking and you have crawling. If you have those 3 skills, you can do a lot of I would say even very intense training sessions. So what I did was to simply include what we call movement snacks, which are very short bursts of movements throughout the day. Let's say 5 minutes here and there. the same way, if I'm thirsty and I want to drink something, I have my bottle of water right here and I will sip a bit of water. It's not different with movement. We should be able to get out of the chair and move a bit and get back to what we are doing. Our nervous system prefers it much greater than doing nothing and have a very intense session for 1 hour. So I apply this mindset and this lifestyle, and I continue to actually improve. Year on year, I could see the benefits of doing even like those short things, because I think volume is better than intensity. We can always have intensity if we decide to, but the volume makes it better on the long term because you learn the skills, you learn the movement patterns, you have motor skills, your physiology is improving, you have less risk of injury, and because of this, you can stay injury free and just move. So your body is always ready. And if you need intensity at some point, well, you can always train, from time to time intensity. Let's say I give you an example. If you are walking to catch a bus and you realize that you're a bit late and your bus is passing by you and you have 50 meters to sprint, you should be able to do it without getting injured. So if you're ready to walk every day for kilometers and kilometers, if you're ready to kneel, ground, stand up, that all your joints are healthy, you will have the intensity to sprint 50 meters to catch that bus, right? So I always like this mindset, and that also helped me in coaching, because when we are having participants in the workshops, we have regular people. We don't have like full-time trainers. Some are, but a lot of people are just office workers, or working in plants and stuff like that. They spend a lot of time sitting from 9 to 5. And if you have a coach telling them, well, you should move 6 hours a day, and then you stretch, and then you do this, and then you do that, people just don't click to that message. They are like, okay, you're lucky to be a full-time trainer. I'm not. But help me. How can you help me? So my story was always to say that I'm just like you. I'm a regular guy. I'm a sales guy on the road, and I managed to use the MovNat method to help improve my agility, my strength, my overall fitness, but more importantly, my mental health, because I wanted to keep sane in the middle of this very, I would say, sharky, harsh, and very aggressive business world.
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned this MovNat snack method. I also believe that it's important to move frequently and with a high volume, and the intensity, yes, from time to time we can increase. But I mean, if you are doing a computer job, then it's a wise thing if you stop for a few minutes in every hour and do a whole body easy movement. So this is about MovNat snack mindset. You can do all day some easy movements and practice the basic skills, and it will be very beneficial in the long term. And what about your family? Your wife and your kids are also practicing natural movements? And if yes, I bet your kids have a huge advantage in his age groups.
Yeah, so they of course they practice, they do their activities as well. What we do at MovNat, we don't advise people to say, okay, you found MovNat, and MovNat is the only way to go when it comes to moving. Because people have different interests in life. They grew up in different cultures with around different sports. You know it well because you grew up around this canoe sports and very specialized mindset, and you basically gather around people having the same mentality, which makes you think that this is the only way. So at MovNat, we only saying that that should be a baseline for you. You should be able to reconnect to who you really are at first, which is a human being, part of nature. Okay, so being part of nature means you should be able to walk barefoot, to run barefoot, to jump, to climb, to do a lot of things that you were doing when you were a kid. And then once you have this physical baseline and you see a basketball game on TV, you see Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, and you're like, wow, I want to be like this person. And you start training basketball, or you want to be Cristiano Ronaldo in football, or any, role models in different specialized sports, and you want to do it and you feel good about doing these sports, that's fine. But know that you need to have your mind and your body ready for that. And know also that all those specialized sports, they care about performance and being good in only a few amount of skills, only a few skills. Doesn't mean you have to ignore the rest of the skills. So in our case, for example, my son is playing football. I really introduce him to the benefits of squatting. He's 12 already, and he was already starting to lose mobility. Why? Because he's sitting a lot at school, spending hours and hours on the chair. And it's proven, I mean, you're a biochemist, you study science a lot. From third grade, fourth grade, kids start to lose mobility because of the school time and now time on screens, iPads and stuff like that. So what I do is to just introduce them to basic stuff. We will squat, we'll kneel, we'll play we'll balance on wooden beams. I will give them some kettlebells, to do farmer walk. They may hold a kettlebell, try to keep their balance while rotating, introducing games as well. So all those things are just a complement, but are also how I motivate them, or him in this case, to do MovNat, is to simply tell him that he will be better in his sports if he does that, because he will be faster, he will not get injured or less injured. He will be stronger even from in the upper body, for example, because in football we train more lower body than upper body. Agility, footwork. There are so many aspects that you can train outside of just training football drills. Okay, so this is only a question to deliver the right message to different people, for them to understand how powerful MovNat can be for them, with different motivations that they have in life. What is their vision? If you want to be a bodybuilder, you can also use MovNat for that. You can just lift heavy rocks, and you will have a caveman, body built, like this. Or if you want to be a climber, well, spend more time on climbing and on mobility, and you can really shape your body and your mind, because natural movement is what life is. We have that, and we just have the structured way to deliver it to the people.
Yeah, sounds good. And you mentioned barefoot training. I'm also a big fan of it. And you? How often you go in your trainings barefoot?
So again, this is back to my previous point, which is you need to deliver the right message to the people. If you tell people, well, you should only be barefoot all the time, people will think we are crazy. And also, it doesn't really make sense when you are in cities. When you go to the supermarket, for example, I know some people do, maybe you do go to the supermarket, but maybe it's not allowed, even more during this COVID crisis. So I would say that I choose my moments. I choose my environment. So if I go to the woods, I would easily remove my shoes, So I will start walking out of my home with shoes on, and preferably I take minimalist shoes with zero drop. And once I arrive in the woods, I just put my shoes on the side somewhere, I hide them, and I just explore. That can be walking, that can be some jumps, that can be running. I like to lift. I built a jungle gym near my home in some woods that you probably know in Maria Remete, in our Buddha side. And when I say I built a jungle gym, I just brought some heavy stones, heavy logs, and I lift. I do what a regular guy would do lifting in a gym, but I do it on uneven terrain. There can be with elevation. I do it with very weird and compact heavy objects like stones, logs, like I said, and I do it barefoot. And I feel much better when my toes are really cramping on the ground, and I ground myself, to really feel the power from the ground and then lift, whether it's deadlift or clean and jerk or lapping. It can be different lifting techniques. So, and I always feel much better after I do a barefoot session. It calms me down. It really have an effect. It really has an effect on me, not only because I have a better feedback when I move, but also on psychological and biological standpoint.
Yeah, sounds good. And I can see that you have a lot of videos about you exercising on the internet, and you do everything from the basic exercises to some professional level tricks. For example, one of my favorite is when you jump from one highly elevated bar to another. For normal people, it should be maybe dangerous, but you do it very safely and elegantly, like a cat. What is your secret? It's all about practice, or you have some mental tricks, especially in a jump? Before you jump, you are thinking about that you complete?
Yeah, so no, I got a gift from the sky that fell into me a few years ago. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, it's about practice. It's actually back to training my kids. We have a place that where maybe you are referring to this place when I jump from one elevated rail to another. I bring my son to this place. After we run, okay, we go for a run, and we finish by some balancing drills on those rails, okay? And we always follow a very, very comprehensive progression, okay? So first of all, I want him to put his hand on the rail, feel the object, and then press the object. Feel the pressure on his wrist, to really warm up the wrist. Once he's stabilized on this, I ask him to look around, because I don't want him to be a slave of his movement. I want his movement to help him doing something. So if he wanted to be on top of this rail, he should just press and then leave after this movement. So after that, I would ask him to lift one leg and put one leg on the rail as well. So it would be on 3 points of support, with one leg trailing back. So that could be already the start of balancing. And then we put 2 feet on the rail, and then we try to balance on it in a deep knee bend position. Once we do that, we try to stand up and so on. But even before that, ask him to know how to jump and how to land. How to land efficiently, which means without getting injured. Know how to use your hips, your knees, and your ankles to absorb an impact from height, okay? So what do we anticipate? We anticipate that because we balance, we may lose balance. And if you lose balance, you should be able to catch yourself, like you said, like a cat. A cat lands smoothly and move on. If you know how to land properly, if you know how to jump properly, you will be more confident in practicing more of your balancing, okay? Same way that if you use 2 wooden beams on the ground and you try to jump from one beam to another, if you miss the beam or if you lose balance after landing your 2 feet on the beam and you step out, you just failed the exercise, but you had no danger. But if you can succeed, like 10 jumps in a row, landing efficiently on this beam, your confidence level will be way greater if you attempt to do the same on elevated surface. If you lose balance, well, think about one skill that you have, landing properly. See, so all those elements are clicking together. Once I have, and this builds my mindset when I'm on top of this elevated surface and I want to jump. I just think about, okay, you have done it 10 times already on the ground. You know how to land in case you lose balance. So try to land properly on this rail. And after a few attempts, it happens, and your brain is very good in registering all those previous jumps and have this algorithm to put the right power and put the right amount of tension once you are on the rail. So practice, but not only practice one skill, but practice different skills that click together in the end.
Yeah, so basically anybody can teach himself or herself gradually to even these high elevation jumps. So if you start in the ground with some precision landings on the beams, then you became more confident in after every training session, and it would be comfortable to go in a high elevation. So I agree. I also try to improve my comfort zone in these jumpings. And I also, in jumping, especially in the precision jumps, before the jump, I do some visualization, mental technique that I will do this, I will arrive there. And most of the time it works. Even if I'm first time on this spot.
Did you have the experience where you don't do this mental work and you fail your landing?
Yes, it happened. So I feel more confident if I do mental preparedness also in a dangerous jump.
Yeah, you see, this is exactly what we start teaching at MovNat when we talk about intention, when we talk about practical movements, which means that we always think about why we are doing this. What is the reason for this movement? And if you are about to attempt this jump, it's really much better to think, why do I want to land there? Oh, because I want to be safe and I don't want to fall. So I will visualize, like you said, myself on this beam or on this rail. And most of the time, that helps you much better. And when you say that everybody can coach themselves, yes, in a way, but that's why we are also here to offer not only a jump from the ground and directly to the elevated rail. Like I said, we spend a lot of time in what we call it's a progression, or we can also call it a regression. When we break down the movements, we break down the progressions, and we never take someone who's not fully ready to a more dangerous environment. So this is the beauty of our system, is that we really go slowly, but we do steady progress.
Yeah. And other video I've seen recently that you completed 1,000 push-up in 1 hour challenge. I said, wow, congratulations. It's a very high level strength endurance performance. And I bet that you didn't practice too much for push-ups. So this is MovNat method is also good for strength endurance and endurance, strength, basic calisthenics exercises. Do you think?
So thank you. Yeah, that was a fun challenge to do. I saw that on YouTube, and I was like, "What if I try this?" So you remember at the beginning of the interview, I told you that people have different passions and different sports, and if you have a physical baseline that is okay, then you can have fun basically. So I wouldn't say that push-up is definitely like a practical movement in the definition, even though it can, because if you sprawl and you need to push yourself off the ground, yeah, that's very practical. But doing 1,000 push-ups is not practical at all. It's just a little test, a little fun I wanted to have. And I saw a method that was like based on discipline, which was you do 17 push-ups every minute. And there are like 20-minute round and 10 minutes when you do 16. Then the next 20 minutes you do 17 and you finish the last 10 minutes with 16, but every minute. And the goal is if you do your push-ups very quickly, then you have more time to rest in that minute. So yeah, I was just curious. To how would I do? And I realized that, yeah, it was hard, but it was not that crazy. And I want to also, my main work, my main job is to get MovNat mainstream and to open to as many people as I can. So we have to speak the language of the people who see, heavy fitness industries with a lot of money, pushing this and that system. For example, they will say the best to get a great body, push-ups, sit-ups, and squats, So if you tell them, oh, I can also do push-ups, I can do thousands of push-ups, people are like, oh, okay, well, what are you doing? And then we can talk about the real philosophy behind it, the real system behind it. I also want to do other challenges like this. I have seen a few on YouTube, and I want to test myself, and soon I will do things like this. I will tell you later. But that was a fun challenge, and that showed me that yes, if you like we come back to the beginning of the interview, if you do a lot of volume and all of a sudden you ask yourself to do intensity, I was just telling myself it's just 1 hour, 1 hour out of 24. What is it? So it's a both physical and mental mindset strength that I wanted to get out of it.
Yeah, I also do some challenges from time to time, maybe because I was a competitive athlete and I need sometimes to push the limits, but it's not for every day. Most of the time I also practice the basic skills, and from time to time I also like to challenge myself. Okay, we are talking about movement, and what about other lifestyle factors like nutrition? Do you think it's important, and do you follow some special diet tricks or no?
Yeah, so nutrition is a slippery slope. Is a dangerous topic to talk about because everyone has their opinions. Some people are very, I would say, opinionated, aggressive about the way we should eat and the impact it has on animals or the environment. So all we can do is to follow what we believe in and what we feel. At the beginning, MovNat was associated with paleo, paleo fitness, paleo diet, and I started to follow it, and I like the philosophy of it, which is we always had things to eat and things to hunt, products to fish or to just pick, harvest. So and it means that eating real food. So I'm more about eating real food than processed and sugary, sweet stuff like this. But I think my main take on nutrition is that I want my nutrition to serve a purpose for my movement. So I don't see, I like food, I'm French, so I like good food. But I eat mostly thinking, what is going to be in a few hours? How will I feel in a few hours if I want to move again? And I need to feel energized. I need to feel light. Or sometimes I just want to feel heavy, strong. So there is a different mindset when I eat. Is I don't eat all the time the same.
Mhm.
I give you an example. I was always a skinny guy. That's my body type. And when I played football, I was more sprinter, very fast, and not so strong but fast. So I always struggled to gain weight. Okay, and when I started MovNat, I was okay running and jumping and stuff like this. But when it came time to lift, I was really struggling. And I realized that mass moves mass as well. You need a you need mass. And so I started to eat more. I started to look at intermittent fasting as well, and eating in a short window, but a lot of carbs, for example, because I really wanted to bulk. And I started to gain weight because I was lifting at the same time. So every time I would eat, I would say, "Don't eat and do nothing. Eat and lift, or eat and have a physical activity." So I gained, I would say, 5 kilos over the course of, it was a winter, like a few winters ago. And when I started to get to climbing again, which was my best skill at some point, I became very good in climbing. I was struggling a lot in leg hooks, in pop-ups and power-ups. And then I was like, what happened? Why I'm struggling so much? And then I was thinking, oh, maybe because your body weight strength ratio is different now. You are heavier, so you have more mass to to pull up. So I changed a bit of my diet, less bread because I was eating a lot of bread too much. Then I was more into the protein side because I had less carbs. I crave more protein, so I build muscle while losing fat, or weight. And I got back to climbing, and 1 month later, and it was good, because I lost 2-3 kilos. So what I like in MovNat is that it always balance you out. You can go to one spectrum, which is the heavy lifter, and then you realize that you cannot do the other skills. Then you go to the climbing, the running side, and then you realize that your lifting is deteriorating. So, you always try to balance it out, and your nutrition is balanced out as well, because sometimes you want to eat a lot. Sometimes you just feel like eating fruits, yogurt, or things like this, and you feel okay. So my long story short is that I use nutrition to feel better when I move.
Yeah, one of the goals for nutrition is to support the trainings. It's important. And what about a lot of traveling? I think before the quarantine, you were flying very frequently, and I'm sure you know this jet lag effect, and you experienced it many times. Do you have some tricks or that works for you?
Yeah, so first of all, I have to say that since the quarantine, I feel much better because I don't fly. I don't go through scans in the airport. I don't through jet lag. I don't go through jet lag. So now I can really feel the effects on the other side. Once you are in it, you adapt and you don't really realize what it is. But it's been, 3-4 months that I don't travel at all, and it was a long time that didn't happen. So all those years doing sales and MovNat as well, I was um, I was always experiencing jet lag, absolutely. And my trick, for example, when I would go to Asia, that was the hardest part. When to go from west to east. Whatever time I would arrive at my hotel rooms, I would do a workout. I would like to sweat it out. Um, if I arrive in a hotel room and I only have a floor, I would go for tripod transitions. I would go for push-ups. I would go for inverted crawl. I would go for reaching, having a post on the ground and really make myself crawling, mostly crawling, let's say. And then I would get a nice sweat. I would take a cold shower and maybe a quick sleep if I can, if the time allows it. And I always felt like my jet lag was much better once I could really sweat it out and get my body in gear again. So yeah, mostly this. Yeah, I would say that.
Now you feel a difference that you sleep better as you are not traveling as much. You are maybe spending more times outdoors on the sun. So,
Yes, absolutely. So it's more about the routine that you can create yourself. You know, the respecting a bit more the circadian rhythm. Recently, I go every morning. So I just went back a few hours ago from the woods. So I am trying to sleep decently early and then wake up very early. So I get to the early hours in the woods. So I have a few kilometers to walk and arrive in the woods. And I choose to either hike on the hill and have a nice view for myself, meditate a bit. On the way down, I can go towards my jungle gym and lift, or simply balance on some fence. And then I get back. So I do all of these fasted. Okay, we were talking about nutrition. I just like to drink a glass of water and go. But when I get back 2-3 hours later, then I'm starving. But I feel like my body needs that. You know, I don't force fed. So yeah, having fresh air, natural sunlight, walking fasted, get the body moving, sleeping at the same time, waking up at the same time, everything improved my overall health like big time. I feel it. I'm last time, you know, I give you an example. They just reopened the street workout areas to COVID, and so it's been a long time that I was not even using bars to climb or anything. And I went back to it, and I felt full of energy, really full of energy. I could climb, beat my record of power ups, and I was doing cartwheels. I was doing a lot of things. I was just energized, and I was thinking I was not training that much, but I think all of what I just mentioned, this routine, being close to nature, walking, sunshine. That's why I love to do this interview even outdoors. You know, I'm in my garden. It's much better to be like this if I can. So definitely a huge improvement. And I'm ready to also go back on the road and teach. But I know the difference, and I will. I think I will apply even more. You know, I will use even more my time, even abroad, whenever I can to be outside, whenever I can to when I can move. I will use it even more because now I see the two sides of the story.
okay, and if somebody would like to start this method, what's your advice how to start, or if they want to train with you, how can they find you? Just some basics.
Okay, so how can people start? I would say test yourself on the ground. What I mean on the ground is really on the floor. That can be in your living room. And you're trying to find ways to stand up without using your hands. And you try to find maybe 5 ways to stand up using your hips, using your knees, using your feet. Try to squat, kneel, try to go on the side, what we call a side bend sit. Try a lot of ground movement and see if it's okay for you. If you are struggling, we have a complete library on YouTube that you can consult. Okay, we have on the MovNat YouTube channel, we have a playlist called the Movement Library. I think there are more than 100 videos, very short videos, like 10-15 seconds of every single movement that you can mimic, like I did back in the days. So if you have a tight budget and you cannot hire a coach like me or my colleagues or even you, Michi, your certified trainer in Spain, if you cannot afford that or you cannot afford to go to a workshop, we have plenty of resources on YouTube. I would say also that you can sign up for the MovNat newsletter. because in this newsletter, we offer a weekly workout, free workout called Maps. And these maps arrive every week, and you have a warm up, emphasis, and cool down that you can try. That's what we call a combo as well. So there are plenty of resources on Instagram as well. We share a lot, like you said, on my Instagram, Jerome_Scarabs. You can check. I try to post almost every day, quick training session, or usually it's videos or photos, but mostly videos. And 1 minute you can check what it is. Like you said, some movements are basic, some movements are more advanced. But if you scroll, you can really find a lot of resources, and all my colleagues do that. So there are plenty of ways to get started. And once you are hooked and you want to move more and learn more, feel free to either consult me directly. You can send me an email or contact me on Instagram, or you can sign up for a workshop that we do everywhere in Europe or in the world once we are freed up from COVID. And we also have an online coaching platform called MNOC, MovNat Online Coaching. And then we give you a weekly program and we follow you. So we use a software where basically you send videos and we review the video, and we can send also our videos and feedback on a daily basis. So it's a very interactive way to be with us. So you see, we have many options. And of course, the last thing is the MovNat gyms, the MovNat facilities that we have. We had more and more. Now with this business crisis, we'll see how it goes. But this is a great way for us to spread the word, is to have local trainers speaking their own languages and teaching the method to their local people. That's the best for us.
Okay. Jerome, thank you that you shared your time and your experience with us today. I really enjoyed talking with you, and see you again. So let's go and do some workout today also. Bye-bye, Jerome. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Michi, thank you very much for the invitation, and I wish you all the best. You are inspiring a lot of people as well, doing what you're doing, changing your lifestyle from being in Hungary to live on the beach. And thank you for the article you wrote for MovNat about 10 ways to boost your immune system. That was a great article. People really liked it. And the book also about natural light and everything you're doing. So thank you for that, Michi.
Okay, bye-bye.